Everyone loves the winners, but we're here for the players. The ones rewriting rules, breaking and surviving the chaos, doubts, pivots, and the messy undercurrents. Welcome to a podcast, Unpolished Players in Business. We love the success stories, the highlight reels, the moments that finally everything comes together. But what about the chaos before that? How do you turn a startup idea into a compass for seeking answers rather than the answer itself? When you step into a new country, a new culture, and try to build something with no blueprint. And most importantly, how do you pull yourself out of the fire of failure over and over again? Today's guest, Ali, my MBA alum, who has lived all of those questions. He's a founder of Experiential Academy, a startup company that has been recognized UK-wide and internationally, a platform that helps small business owners and students bridge real-world gaps and navigate the same chaos he's wrestled with himself. As an outsider in the UK, like some of us, he has navigated culture shifts, career pivots, and the deep uncertainty of building not only businesses, but a life on his own terms. In this episode, Ali shares not only just how he built his businesses, but how he explores himself during the way. If this episode hits you, share your story in the comments or DM us, because someone out there might need a reminder that they're not in this alone. Hello, Ali.
Hi, good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. I really appreciate that you just accept my invite as my first guest for this video podcast.
Yeah, it's to be honest, it's my pleasure and happy to be here.
Yeah, please introduce you for our audience a little bit.
All right. So, hey everyone, I'm Ali. Where should I start? Let's say I'm the founder of Behrad Business Solution, an ERP consulting company that I sold in 2022. Leeds MBA graduate, founder of Experiential Academy, and co-founder of English Learning Therapy. So yeah.
It sounds like you have did a lot of things, and now you're doing two programs simultaneously, right?
To some extent, yes, and to some extent, the reason I'm doing it, it's related to my MBA and my research, but it would be very interesting. But I think it would be better for me to first tell you about the Experiential Academy and what we do there and what's the idea about, and then maybe we can proceed. So, well, basically, based on my own experience as a business owner, a small business owner, and as a management student, I felt like, okay, there is a gap here, you know? So a small businesses usually, like in all the cases, basically, they have limited resources. They don't have access to, let's say, industry reports or let's say academic frameworks. And turned out, based on like 50 something years of research, one of the main growth barriers for small businesses is lack of a strategic planning and lack of knowledge in best management practices. So we have a gap there. And as, let's say, management students, so they're learning their courses, and typically they have some assignments, some, I don't know, dissertation project, this and that. But if you ask the students, like, what was your marketing plan, for example, about, and they would be like, it was for Apple iPhone, I don't know, 19 or Google something, you know?
Yeah.
And there is a lot of effort for that report, and they don't feel related because they know nobody is going to read it.
Yes.
Apart from like their lecturer professors. But it doesn't have an impact on real world. So go back to that management, that small businesses, lack of management, lack of resources. And I was a small business owner before. So when I was studying, I was like, okay, all of this could have helped me when I was doing my business, my first business, ERP consulting. And to be honest, to some extent, as a business owner, not knowing what to do was one of the reasons I decided to study MBA. But anyway, so this is the gap. And what we provide in Experiential Academy is a knowledge sharing platform which has multi-sites on it. So there are businesses, universities, and students that it allows, let's say, everyone, every business owner, to benefit from it. They collaborate on 1 week, 2 week, a small project with the students. First of all, they get their resources they need. They will be emotionally supported, to be honest, and this is something I don't think anybody considers. As a, let's say, solo entrepreneur, it's you. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know if you're doing something right or wrong. And then you have somebody, often very passionate, and they bring like insights and whatever they can. And then you feel, okay, you feel more confident. Okay, this is the right way. Somebody externally is seeing me and supporting me and so on. And secondly, this is something that they can show off with, you know? No, seriously.
You're gonna use the word show off.
Yeah, it's something that you can show off, like as a student, management, especially management student. Because if you talk to them, I'm one of them, by the way. I'm a graduate, but anyway. You know the difference between management student and, like, let's say computer science students is like, if you are studying computer science, you know exactly what you want to do in the next step. Because there aren't that many options.
The path
for
is
you.
very clear.
Yeah, clear and narrow. So you're DevOps or cloud or something. It's very narrow, right? But if you talk to management students, especially like undergrads, they will be like, okay, technically we know about every industry, we know about the business itself, but I don't know what I want to do.
Okay, I have a question. Like, in some degree, people always say how to pitch your business idea is very important, especially when you meet someone who is very important, and maybe it would be an essential investor for you, but you only like have. People always say, is that like elevator theory?
Yeah, elevator pitch. Yeah,
elevator pitch.
Yeah.
So have you did it for this?
Yeah. So there are a couple of things you have to consider, to be honest. Like, if you're pitching in your own language or in a different language. For me, it was very different. Like, even like selling in English instead of like in Persian, which is my mother tongue. It's not similar, let's say. And then there is something else in the middle as well. It's not just about the language. It's also about the culture.
Yeah.
And you will see it, like when you get involved in it, you can see the cultural differences. You have many assumptions, but let's go back to elevator pitch. So I was part of the Innovative Entrepreneurs program, which is West Yorkshire Combined Authority program for supporting the startups and businesses. And the second phase of the program, which was 3 months long, was about investor readiness, was about how to pitch your business. So I had some training in this area, and what I can say, first of all, it's really different if you're pitching to investor or I don't know, your customer or potentially a partner or whatever. So you have different criteria. But I can say for investor, it's really important, first of all, what do you want to ask? Go at the beginning. I'm asking for this. This is the challenge, and this is the solution. And if you have extra time, usually it's 1 or 2 minutes. If you have extra time, you can go deeper, like in terms of who are you. But yeah, technically for investors, I think it would be the shortest version you can do about your business.
Yeah.
And
For
yeah,
customer?
for customer it different. It differs. Like for me, I try, like usually, I try not to pitch to customer. You know what? I try to ask customer questions.
What do you need?
What do you
you
need?
want?
What do you do about this part of, let's say, if we are talking about, let's say, universities, how you bring projects, how many projects you're bringing, is it good enough for you, or are you looking for more projects? This should be the right approach, you know. And based on that, basically you buy yourself time, but more importantly, you actually understand their challenge, and you can see if you're fit or not. And if you're not, it's better to thank them for their time. That's it.
So I think in some degree, listening and analyzing
Yeah,
is more important than you talking, you pitching,
definitely,
you selling.
definitely.
And I think that's really related to our another similarity, besides we're both MBA students, another similarity that we both had the experience on theater plays. I think that's very interesting part, because on theater, especially theater, not for movie,
Yeah.
theater is a situation that you need to read the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to
Definitely.
resonate it with the audience in the dark as much as you can.
Definitely.
Yes, that's the most exciting part
Yeah.
of that. And I have to explain it for our audience. The first time we met each other, I remember, like, for a lot of time we talk about the MBA, the courses, the teachers, the challenges, and you give me a lot of solutions. That's very good. And the very interesting part is when I heard you have done the theater play, I was
Yeah.
like, wow, fuck. Oh my God. I mean, I will definitely be more close to you, because I think for some extent, I think for businessmen, the instinct and the logic are both important. And the theater play is a great combination of the logic and the instinct. Besides that, your understanding about humanity.
Yeah.
So that's very related. Please tell me more about your theater plays.
Oh.
Yeah. How
Which
did you
part?
start it?
Yeah, it's very interesting. So let's go a little bit backwards. So
Yeah,
when I
go
was
back.
doing my aerospace engineering bachelor's degree,
We will talk about it later.
which
That's
we
very-
will, and it was, I think, more than almost 15 years ago, which means I'm too old. No, not 15, but something else. God. So anyway, right off the bat, I wasn't good at aerospace engineering. I realized it's not my interest. It's very interesting, but for some reason, not my interest. So I started to go to just try different things. Reading philosophy, psychology, whatever, economy, and so on and so forth. So at some point, we started to do this play reading, like a couple of friends sitting together reading some plays. And it was interesting, to be honest. It was interesting. And then we decided, it was a summertime or something, we decided to collaborate with the university's theater group at the time, and let's have a play reading with audience. You know, so there was a table, and we had, it wasn't
script.
like acting, we read from scripts as our characters. So very interesting experience. And right after that, we started the next one. So the next one, this is very interesting, because we start practicing and everything like before. It was another play, and after almost 1 month of practicing, I realized this is not going to be a play reading. It's just acting. It's just a theater, like fully staged. And I was like, okay, cool. So I'm here now. So in like couple of months, I think 1 month after that, I have to like act for the first time.
Have the real costumes,
Yeah,
makeup.
everything,
Yeah.
everything. So it's not table read this time.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it happened. It happened. And you just said like reading the room in the dark. It just brought the first experience of acting in front of people. So imagine like I was on the stage from the beginning. The whole stage was dark at the beginning, and then there was a piano play starts, and it was live, by the way. So it has like different, let's say, different impact emotionally, and I could hear people are coming and start sitting on it.
A little bit
yeah,
talking.
a little bit talking, and there were 300 people at the
first show.
Yeah,
for
at
you.
the first show.
That's pretty much.
And then there was lights, and we start. It was very interesting experience. So what we were talking about, I'm like back there right now.
About
So
the
yeah,
acting.
yeah. So
Yes.
that's where I was started.
Start about
Yeah,
that.
and you can imagine like after that you are in it. Like you really enjoyed like 300 people, very unique experience, and this becomes a part of you, you know. Of
And
course.
besides the attention, I also want to make sure about the excitement. Because I think, especially for theater play, you are holding much more risk than you have like into the film. Because film can again and again and again, maybe just the director gonna screaming at you. But theater play have the risk. So at the point, how do you fail? How do you face that risk? And it's very
I think
passionate.
this is very interesting. Like the difference between like theater play, acting in theater or in a movie.
Yeah.
One thing in theater is like you don't have a chance to like go back and do something else.
Yeah, you can.
And in theater, you have unexpected circumstances. So first of all, to answer your question, like it happened, I think, at the first play, first night, let's say, and you have all of those stress and excitement, and you don't know.
You're shaking.
Yeah, you literally is about to like faint even, but. All of those energy, for some reason, changed itself and became into my voice and into my acting. And you know, one important thing, you should talk and act in a way that anybody can hear you in the theater.
Even at the last line.
Yeah, last row. Yeah. So that was it. I think to some extent it changed to that energy that I can let's say, I can offer as acting. But in terms of unexpected circumstances, it was very interesting. So imagine this is the stage, and I was dressed as an old guy in a village and something, the whole story, but the main act at the time, at this specific moment, was in the middle of a stage. So I was, for example, in a bar in the corner of the stage.
You're here.
Yeah. I'm doing my own thing. It wasn't something.
Yeah.
And I started, like in my peripheral vision, I saw somebody who is walking in the middle of audience. Seems like an old guy. And he walked by to the front of the stage. He turned around and he stand here beside me. I was on the stage, so he was down there.
Okay.
And he started calling me, and he was like,
what's the point? Okay.
and he was asking me when this is going to finish.
Oh my God.
So
What?
I didn't do anything. I tried to maintain my character. One of the friends and one of people who were coordinating that everything came and took him and they talked. So, but it was very interesting. I could see everything on it.
And
But
the
yeah,
audience know that.
yeah. Somebody's going and then
I mean, all the audiences
hello.
know what is happening.
And turned out
Uh-huh.
some of the people thought this is part of the play.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
And you guys, especially you, stay on the role
Yeah,
you played.
yeah.
That's definitely okay. So, based on this, I have like two feelings. The first one you mentioned is about before you play. Definitely, you're gonna very like nervous. You think maybe I'm gonna do something wrong. Maybe I'm gonna take some risks that nothing can restart. It's really related to like you have your own startup
Oh
business.
yeah.
Right? Sometimes because of the limited resources and budget, you don't have the opportunity to restart some process.
Definitely.
And you must be very nervous at the first time. And the second part is, as you said, you're gonna find some way to change the nervous into some real energy, real action.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
also
yeah,
like
yeah.
business.
Mhm.
So besides that, do you have another thinking about like the relation, like the similarity of this art of acting and the entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah. So there are a lot of overlaps, I think. I think there are a lot of overlaps between these two. One thing, yeah, as you mentioned, and I think the other one is, how can I put it? You're acting. To some extent, as an entrepreneur, you're acting.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a great point.
Really? So, you don't have established market. You don't have established customer base. You have a vision. You're seeing something, generally speaking. I'm not talking about myself, by the way. I'm not really into, I'm very good.
Not only about it.
So you're seeing something and trying to show it to other people. And many times they are not seeing it. So this is one part of it. The other part is there are days that you feel you got punched in the face like 1,000 times. Punched in the face. And if you close your eyes, you can see even your face is like smushed. And then you go to somebody, like let's say it's a client or potential partner, and you're acting as if
Yeah.
acting as if everything is going well, or not necessarily. I'm holding everything together, but deeply you're
Acting.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's very common, to be honest. I don't even hope to be common. Yeah. There are lots of ups and downs, and you have to keep yourself together. So the honest answer when somebody asks you, how are you doing, you should be like, I'm fucked, man. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I'm right. And I don't know if this works or people need this, even though I have like all the research on back of it. I don't know if I'm the right person to do this and everything. That's the right answer, but
It's a little bit like fake it until you make it. No? Do you think?
I think, to be honest, I'm not a very big fan of that phrase because that has lie in it. You're faking something.
Yeah.
But here you're not faking. You're not faking. You're just going through something, and you know there is no need to share that with others because that's your, let's say, cross to carry. It's yours, not others.
it's like your problem. You,
Yeah.
they are the only one
Yeah,
need to
and you
solve it.
decided to
Yeah.
take that responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
You could have just do whatever you wanted to do, but you decided to take this specific responsibility and fix something in the work, and obviously like build something out of it.
That's very beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's go back a little bit about your bachelor. You said you were studying at the aerospace engineering.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't know anything about that except some like feeling, some theory from the Big Bang. The Howard was learning that, and yeah, Sheldon always make fun of him. So I don't know because in my assumption, I think he's learning about like how to build an airplane.
Yeah, design and build any like flying,
spacecraft. Yeah.
Anything.
And you at that time you felt you don't like it. And how did you do the ERP consulting after that graduation? It sounds like
so
not
there is
related.
like I think 8 years gap in these two instances.
8 years
by the
gap.
way, yeah.
Okay.
So
The 8 years is after the graduation.
yeah,
end.
after I started working, and then I started my first company. But yeah, let me tell you. So aerospace engineering, still I'm insisting it's a very beautiful, very interesting topic, and it shaped the way I think.
Oh.
It really shaped the way I think, like the way I face problems, you know. So if you go back to very basic of physics and let's say whatever you have it in engineering, usually any problem, and you can imagine like an aircraft, how whatever works on it, you know, how that heavy, let's say
big machine
how that can fly. It doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
And then there is the beauty in engineering, and that is something I to some extent took from my education, my bachelor education. Whatever problem you have some variables and you have some data.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
so you come up with a formula, and that formula can solve your problem. There are things that you know, and there are things that you don't know, and then you put it together and try to solve it. So basically, it became like the
mindset.
yeah, and I realized it what does it mean? Years later. Oh my God. I didn't know it at the moment, and I couldn't like figure out what I want to do for my life. But yeah, so, but again, I wasn't good at it, and it was my biggest failure to some extent. And I started, as I mentioned earlier, I started to try different things. At the same time, I was still in the university. I tried different things, and one thing led to another. I started working in sales, and then I got into SaaS companies, information system, software as a service, let's say, in sales. And then I realized, okay, this is interesting, and I can do it. And let's have a quick flashback to my learning from aerospace engineering. I was working at sales. I didn't know how exactly I should do it. What are the, let's say, criteria? What are the parameters that are in my control? Then I learned about the specific sales model, like how to persuade and how to like. And then I realized, okay, this model actually helps me to perform slightly better than others. And then you can see like this belief in models and structures shaped in everything in my life later. But yeah, so started in that company, information system, and then I work in another company in, it was in IoT, Internet of Things, basically some sort of information system. And there is like maybe No. It was, about 6 years of working with different companies, mainly in this knowledge management, information system sector. And then I started my own ERP consulting company. So what is ERP? I
What
bet.
is ERP consulting? We don't know.
So as a business, any business, you buy some things, maybe you sell some things, you have your human resources, you have your inventory and everything. So these are the data. ERP system is enterprise resource planning. So you put
Enterprise
resource planning. So you put all of this data to this software, which we have many of it right now. Like, I think one of the most famous one, which I really like, is Microsoft Dynamics 365. So, one example of ERP system. So you have all of these data on this software, and you design your business process and everything based on this. So if a salesperson like issues a quote, invoice, who should, and everything. So when there is an invoice, you should like send the inventory, let's say, send the product to the customer, and the whole process of everything in your company sits in that enterprise resource planning software.
So now we're basically know the basic concept of ERP consulting.
Oh
Yeah, and you mentioned how you have your basic knowledge and your mindset or methodology. Maybe also have your client base for your startup, right?
First of all, technically, that wasn't the startup. Like, it's a very established business model. So, yeah, I think, over the previous years of working in different information system, I started gain knowledge in that area, and I started to build my network. So at the time, there was this opportunity for me to partner up with a ERP provider and have this business as a consulting business. And yeah, I was like, I know the network, I have the provider, and there we go.
So why do you want to start that company? Also, you mentioned you have some information, some background, some networking.
Yeah.
Is there someone encourage you, or you some other things encourage you?
You're not familiar with Iranian culture, with Persian culture.
Please tell us.
So let me give you two examples here. Like in the UK, go to some event and tell somebody, I want to start a business.
Okay.
And their reaction, oh, that's lovely. Do you know about this support or that one or this one?
Oh, yeah, it's very supportive.
Let me know if you need any help. And very supportive, very encouraging. When you go to Iran, you're like, I want to start a business and I already have these resources and I'm pretty sure it works. And the response is, are you sure? In this economy?
Okay.
How about your life? How about this and how? And you're like, oh God. So they're not culturally. It's not very as encouraging as here in the UK. To be fair, and by the way, I really respect the culture. Obviously, Persian culture, but that wasn't it for me. It was. There are two aspects. First of all, there was this opportunity to start this business, and for some reason I've been looking for new ideas for a couple of years, maybe 1 year before that, to maybe start something. The other reason was I felt I'm not gaining anything, not just financially, by working at that time. So I'm not gaining anything in terms of growth, learning, and either I should settle down for whatever I have right now, or
take a bigger challenge.
Take a bigger challenge.
Mm-hmm. And why did you sell it and going to UK
The
to
same.
MBA? Yeah.
The same reason.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the same reason. So after maybe 3 years, almost 3 years, I was like, okay, I'm not gaining anything. No, but to be fair, after like couple of years of working, at like CEO position,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
you have control over everything, and basically everything is your responsibility. And it was a good opportunity for me to learn what I don't know.
Mm.
Not understand, just learn about myself. These are the things you don't know in terms of business,
Mm-hmm.
and how you can fill that gap.
Mm. In business side, what's your biggest takeaway from that entrepreneurial journey as a CEO?
Takeaway as like from
From
business
business,
person,
yeah. First, let
not
us talk about
personal.
yeah. Later
Okay,
on.
cool. I think one of the very interesting thing I found out at the time was about network.
Oh.
It's all about network. It's not about anything else. And that really helped me. That really helped me to, I think, first transaction. Technically, after a week of setting up the company, I had my first transaction. But there was a gap, and then I think after 2 months, it starts to, like, the revenue starts to grow.
Growing.
And I think, yeah, right after 8 months, it was profitable.
Okay. Could you please be more specific about networking?
Oh,
Like,
I'm not talking about networking per se.
yeah,
I'm talking about your network.
your network.
Yeah. So, as I mentioned at the beginning, and I have this theory about network, there are 3 layers for networking.
I don't know that.
It's because it's my theory. I didn't. So, in terms of network, I think there are 3 layers. And in this case, like, it was mainly the first layer. The first layer is, okay, I don't know, go to some sort of networking event, you have a chat with somebody,
Yeah.
and you know them,
Yeah.
right? You're connected maybe on LinkedIn, phone number, whatever. You know at someday you can call them
Yes.
technically, and probably they will answer you. This is like the most common aspect
first
of it.
layer.
So there is another way, I don't want to say way, like there is another layer that people have more interaction together, like they catch up after some time and they have like this sort of connection and whatever. So this is, I think, better, and there is more likelihood of something interesting comes up in this collaboration, in this, let's say, network. But the third layer, which I do really respect, and that's my ultimate goal in networking, is that sort of collaboration that creates value. There's a value exchange, and it happened to me a lot. Like, I try to do it consciously. I don't know, I'm going to networking event. I don't talk to everyone, by the way. It's not my thing. I'm very uncomfortable.
Not the social butterfly.
Yeah. To some extent, I'm very conscious that it's fake.
Yeah.
You try to be very, but yeah. Anyway, the third layer is more about when you talk to someone, you understand what they're doing, what are their challenges, and then later you can help them out. There's a value exchange here, and I think this is the best model of networking.
So for you always firstly thinking about how you can help them, because for a lot of people, the first thing is how you can help me.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you this conversation, but would really appreciate if you could hit that subscribe button. It helps us keep bringing you these conversations. And honestly, it's gonna makes our day. All right, let's back to it.
Yeah. Or
So
do you
it's a
want to
little
buy this
yeah.
thing from me?
So
And I'm like,
I
no.
think that's a difference. That's a difference, right?
Yeah, and obviously I can't help everyone. But
Definitely.
I mean, I'm not capable of
Mhm.
offering even
Yes.
something to someone. But yeah, that is like my favorite approach. But anyway, let's go back to that network
Yeah.
I told you about.
Take away.
So at the time, I knew there are people in my network who I can call. There are people who I was closer and probably more likely to help me out. And thirdly, there are people that I've done projects with them, and I try to like uh, over deliver what I was supposed to deliver. And yeah, basically, I realized this is it. This is it. And obviously, over the time, when you are doing something right, when you are creating that value exchange, you are over delivering to some extent, your network expands. Basically, your business works much easier. So in the third year, I didn't need any marketing activity to conduct. It was ongoing.
Oh, that's very important, and I think that must help you a lot when you start your new projects, your new company in UK.
In
and
the UK.
we will talk about it later.
All right.
And my question is also about that journey and. Besides the business side, what did you find about yourself? Like your self-development,
Yeah.
your unconscious part, or something
Yeah.
unrevealed. Yeah.
So at some point, I realized I'd never heard of it before, but at some point I encountered the term imposter syndrome. All right.
Oh.
And when I was reading like the symptoms description and everything,
Yeah.
I was like, why somebody is talking about me like publicly? This is me. Everything is me. Everything checks out. And
So
it
please
was
explain it a little bit for our audiences, maybe.
so basically, let's say, and I think if you go back to whatever we talked, you can pick up the things, symptoms of imposter syndrome. But basically, it's about the people, often successful people, and again, I don't want to pose myself as successful, uh, tend to think they're not capable of anything, and all of their success was based on luck or whatever circumstances. And at the same time, if somebody else is doing something fine or succeeding in something, they will be like, oh, that person must be so brilliant. You know, there is this unbalance here, like the way you look at yourself and the way you look at your achievements, and
Others.
and maybe a little bit more challenging, dangerous part of it is, hence the name, you feel you're an imposter. And at any given moment, maybe people will find out you're nothing, you're not good at it, and you're just pretending that something. So that is the, let's say, challenging part of it. But yeah, that's imposter syndrome. And at some point of time, I was like, oh, this is checks out, like with everything.
Do you think now you still have it?
Oh, definitely. Now I like it. Now I keep it consciously. So there is this argument. I have this argument. So yes, maybe. Definitely, it's stressful. Like if you think about everything in this way about yourself, it is stressful.
And you're always trying to be more perfect to let
That's the
Yeah.
benefit of it. That's why I like it. But maybe
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have that stress, or if you feel you're okay, you're fine, you're not, you won't try enough, and then you will be something, okay. Maybe that actually helps you to try harder and be more precise in what you're doing. It's not very easy to have that critical perspective on yourself, but I think it works. And apparently it's very common among entrepreneurs as
Oh.
well.
But I think in this way, it's pretty hard for you to enjoy the achievement. You cannot
yeah.
100% to enjoy
Yeah, this is
it.
not advice. To be honest, this is not a healthy advice to keep your imposter syndrome if you're feeling it. It is not. And yeah. You technically, you know, probably you don't enjoy it as any normal person might enjoy. And as I mentioned, the first symptom is, yeah, I was lucky to get this. Or they don't know that I'm not good enough for whatever it is, you know.
But maybe you're
To be
just
honest,
humble. Yeah.
this is the first time I want to tell anyone this.
Yeah.
For maybe 1 week or 1 month of my MBA,
Yeah.
starting my MBA, I was expecting to somebody from university emails me and tells me, we were wrong to give you a scholarship, and probably like take
Oh, you're
it away
thinking
from
about
me.
that.
Yeah, you let's say you don't deserve that
Uh-huh,
scholarship, and seriously, it was my thing, and I didn't tell anyone I got a scholarship because I was like, maybe they
If
take
they
it,
recall it.
maybe they take it back, and I will be exposed. That
Okay. Mm-hmm.
it's not very healthy, and sometimes not only you don't enjoy your achievement, but it becomes more stressful for you. But yeah,
But now you feel it's unconscious, so maybe you can balance it better, I think.
hopefully.
You will, you will.
Yeah.
So during the MBA, I think at maybe the first month or the second month for me, my biggest challenge definitely is English.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely, because
Still, it is my challenge. How can
yeah, for us maybe. And maybe I think for the rest of life, as long as I stay in UK, stay in the English speaking country, I will always doubt about this part.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of course in mother tongue you say everything very accurately, very vividly, especially I think, okay, I have some
Do
sense
you?
of humor.
This is the question. Do you?
Do I what?
Do you, let's say, speak everything very accurately in your mother tongue, or
I assume
you communicate everything very accurately? That's the difference, you know.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
this is coming from something I learned not far ago, and this is coming from the whole concept of setting up the other company
Yeah.
English learning therapy. Yeah.
That's a great question. Later we will discuss it more.
Yeah.
So at the first 2 months, I assume I'm pretty good at Mandarin, but in English, I can only use it to do some basic communication.
Yeah.
Maybe for some deep part, I'm trying, but not that accurately.
Yeah, you
It's
might
some
touch
details.
that deep part, but you
Yeah,
can't go
you
deep.
can't.
Yeah.
So I was pretty disappointed, especially when I really trying to read everything. Like you, I really want to learn everything. But the speed I read is too slow. So what's your challenges about this English part in your MBA? And I assume it is a little bit related to your second program, the English learning therapy, right?
Yeah. So, but to be honest, it was shocking for me. Like
Shocking.
yeah. But keep in mind, like in terms of English language, my first time like officially speaking English in front of somebody was my IELTS exam.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
just did one exam, and then first time writing in English was in my IELTS exam again.
Me too.
And then after a couple of months, I was like in an English country. And
That's brilliant.
to be honest, I had no idea of like the language level of other people from other countries. I didn't know, like, for example, in India, sorry, I really didn't know, not my fault. In India, like, they are very fluent in English. So, and I was like, okay, it's not good. I don't know. But so basically, it was, and it will be a
A little bit
challenge
stressful.
for me. But yeah, over time, then you try to figure your life out to some extent. You can stay at that point. But there was something, and it comes to the English learning therapy, the business. So I also have a friend who basically studied English language. She has experience teaching in Iran, China, and the UK. And she also studied master education here at Leeds University, top of the class. Very smart friend of mine. So we had this conversation at some point of time, and she was like, what we don't learn about like teaching English, or basically the concept of speaking in second languages, we've been taught that this is the grammar, this is what you should say, and that's it, and the structure and everything, which is good. But the whole concept is, if you can communicate what you want to say, that's good enough. And I was like,
That's why the language is existing in the world.
yeah,
Right?
yeah. I had a chat with my friend about this whole concept, and it's a very well-researched concept. So here we are, and this led to this other business, English learning therapy, which is basically teaching English in not by me, obviously. I'm not a good candidate for it. But teaching English through her team and her network, with this in mind, and adding that, combining it with therapy-like sessions, and identifying what are your growth barrier in terms of using English as a language.
Oh, that's a great belief.
Yeah.
I think that's a great belief
And it's
philosophy.
extremely well researched. For some reason, it's not happening in practice.
Yeah, and that is the first principle of why we use this. That's very, very good. And at the end of MBA, I know you got the prize as a top student.
Yeah.
Could you please tell us more about, especially the feeling? How you know that news? Where you know that news? What's the feeling?
So that's it. Again, it comes with the imposter syndrome. Until the last moment, you don't know, and you doubt yourself, and maybe it's not mine, or lot of things, lot of other things. But after, let's say, submitting the dissertation, a couple of months later, we were waiting for the outcome and everything else. There was this one day, and I really remember, like, with detail, I supposed to meet one of the professors to have a chat with them. I don't know why. I just wanted to talk to someone.
You're not
Oh,
worried.
yeah, no. I remember what was exactly my email to that professor. And yeah, it was more about my startup idea, maybe having a chat, because I knew that professor is active in the same area to some extent, external engagement, universities. So I supposed to meet her in the evening something, and I think it was around 10 in the morning something. I got an email, congratulations, Ali, we are happy to say, yeah, you got the MBA prize and this and that. Could you please confirm?
The whole class gonna have one or two, right?
technically it goes to the highest mark, like best performance.
Yeah.
But it could be like uh, you have two people in first place, same, totally the same thing. But anyway, it just directly to me. Nobody else knew about it at the moment, and I just sent it to one of my friends and my family. One of my friends who the same. We just talked about her like she's in China, and yeah, that was it. And then I had a meeting with my professor, and I was like, yeah, it has been challenging, but today I got this email. So yeah, it makes you happy for a short time, I can say.
For a short time.
Yeah.
How short
And
it
this
is?
is
2 days.
let's say 1-2 days. Yeah, this goes back to that you're not really enjoying your achievements.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
But I think that also make you be a little bit more confident because at that time you are starting your new business. So
This is the question I always ask. Do you need
the outside.
confidence? No. Do you need confidence at all? Do you
need
want to feel safe?
Oh, you ask yourself this question.
No, yeah, I'm asking you. Do you want to feel safe? Do you know everything? Your life is in the right track, and what if you feel safe? Then isn't one of the outcome is that you're not trying enough anymore?
I mean, for me, the answer is I want to be safe, but I know I'm very hard to feel safe. I'm very hard to fulfilling. I'm very hard to feel sufficient. But I know I want to be safe and be confident. And as long as I get it, some people say, oh, now you get it something. And I was like, okay, let me feel, no, it's not enough. I need to be more. So that's me. How about you?
I'm very okay with not feeling safe. And to be honest, if you look at my journey, like I was safe. I was working in a company, right? Everything was fine, and it's been.
And you jump out of it.
And then I suddenly decide, okay, this is enough. I don't want to do it anymore. I want to start my own business. And I went down like everything, uncertainty and everything, and then everything sit together. And at some point, I was like, okay, this is good business, and I'm working, and I'm feeling safe. I'm done. Let's go do something else. Start MBA. Study MBA. Different country, not here.
Yeah.
What is the most challenging? Let's do that, And then, after MBA, okay, wouldn't it be safer to just focus and find a job and work for a company? Yes, it would. But let's start another business. Yeah.
What kind of factors do you think influence you to be this feeling or mindset, let's say? Why you are in this?
I think to some extent, oh, there are many things. Yeah, I can see it now. It goes back to our first discussion about theater. I'm achievement seeker, but I'm attention seeker. I want to be bold. I want to be on the spotlight. I have to do something and achieve something worth it that people can see me. Oh, God, I didn't know this about myself. Oh, God. Yeah, I think it definitely. Obviously, I know I'm achievement seeker. As per our discussion, I realized, probably that also have some impact on my behavior, and to some extent, I I fear the failure deeply. I'm not okay with it, even a small one. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh God.
But I feel my blood is getting warmer. I don't know why. I love to. That's the reason why I want to launching this show. I love to hear people are feeling unfulfilling, unsafe, want achievement, ambitious. I don't know why. I think it's like I love have some picture in my mind that we're like the wild animals walking in the jungle. I don't like the civilization of the big buildings in big cities. I don't like that. I
She
really
doesn't
have.
mean it. She likes civilization.
Yeah, I love that. So I
Yeah,
really
to be
appreciate you say that.
honest, what I really appreciate uh, is reality. Like, it's not white, it's not black, it's gray, and don't even try to, let's say, overlook that dark side of it. I love the dark side,
Yeah.
and there is a dark side, and I'm very fine to acknowledge what are, first of all, to identify what are my dark sides and even acknowledge it, because I know everybody has it.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm pretty sure, like, and sometimes I can tell what is it, but yeah, it's fine.
So when you first have your aha moment, you think, okay, there is a gap. And what did you do after that? Because like having an idea is only the first step of how you launching your own business, and a lot of people say how you implement it is the most important thing.
Okay, yeah. Let me first give you my controversial
Yeah.
opinion. Having idea, I think, means nothing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I have an idea. What is it? No, I want to fly. It doesn't worth anything. Like, yeah, okay, good, go, bye, fly away. It doesn't mean anything. And again, it comes back from my bachelor experience. One of our professors come to us. He was talking, yeah, I had this meeting with this a specific person who has this idea of building an aircraft that can work as a car and that can, I don't know, uh, work as submarine and everything at the same time. And I was like, okay, they have different factors in
Yeah.
it, and it's not even possible. So having idea,
Means
nothing,
nothing.
in my perspective, unless your idea is well developed and you know how, you know. So you have this idea of, now let's come back to my idea. At the time, if you want, or if anyone wants, by the way, I can list you 10 business ideas, basically. But about this specific one, first of all, it was this close, let's say, relation, involvement of me and the idea. Like, it was relative to my experience as a business owner previously, and the pain I had to feel at the time. And again, as a management student, as a graduate, and uh, everything. So first of all, it was this closer, let's say, relation with the idea, and the gap I felt, this is so big that if you do anything, it's better than nothing.
Oh yeah.
You know, there is a need. I think there is a need that if I can feel it, it would be uh, anything can help it. But yeah, so started with this and started to go through programs, start talking to people, and at some point I launched a MVP, minimum viable product, of my platform to test it. There were many things I realized along the way. Not everybody like me respect that
Academic.
structural, not necessarily academic, like not everybody like me respect that structural thinking, you know?
Oh.
I did my aerospace engineering. I look at every problem as an equation with some knowns and unknowns. Not necessarily everyone. Some people think, okay, this is sales, for example. This is sales. This is more about interpersonal skills. This is not something that we can formulate. But yes, you can. And if you do, the outcome would be much better than doing things randomly. Marketing is the same. So there, to some extent, there is a model that can help you, but not everybody actually appreciates it.
Buy in the whole, yeah.
Yeah.
philosophy.
And to be fair, like some people are too busy with, let's say about business, or too busy with their, let's say, daily tasks. They can't actually spend time thinking about this. But yeah, so along the way, I had to adjust, modify my value proposition, change things in a way that probably works better. For example, at some point, at the very early beginning, I was like, okay, if I propose this, technically every business should want it, because I was representative on the businesses on my own idea. But turned out, no, this is not the case, and there are some businesses who really doesn't care about this part. But I found a way to propose some value to those kind of businesses. You know, then this is not an idea. This is something that you are trying to fit to the market, especially after going through a, let's say, successful stage of implementation. You know, so yeah, this is it. And studying, let's say, studying business, I'm pretty sure there is one thing that there's one constant in business world, anywhere, anytime, anything.
Yeah.
Everything changes. It's very interesting, and there are many more interests and many more overlap with this concept of dynamic capabilities. You have to, as a business and even as an individual, you have to learn how to sense the change, opportunities, threats, and seize it, and then reorganize everything that matches that new situation. And we can't deny it now, because we are seeing it change like every year. And one of them would be enough. But yeah, anyway, the reason I'm mentioning it is, yeah, as somebody who tries to launch a new platform, a startup, you should be able to change. You should be able to adopt and change constantly. At this point, you might come up with something that is, let's say, perfect. It answers your initial idea, but you have to be prepared to change. And one of the things I think I can disclose to some extent, one of the things I didn't expect to adopt, but I'm adopting it to the platform, is about AI. You know, some sort of AI helper, helping the business side, and potentially like providing better user experience, like customer experience, not user as platform. But yeah.
But I remember you were I was a little bit cynical for AI.
I'm not cynical about it.
But
so in any given technology, like new technology, there is a very beautiful curve. It's hype curve. There's a hype curve like this. At the very beginning, everybody thinks, oh, this is going to change everything in our life, and AI is going to
change
replace
our world again.
Yeah. 3D printing, one example, I think it would be very relatable in this case. Like at some point, we can even print our houses.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
We
People
can
always
print
talk
this
about
and that. It's a very good technology. It doesn't answer everything. So there is this hype curve, and then we realize, oh no, we were wrong, we were wrong.
It's lower and lower.
But here, these are the things, and it takes time, right? So here we are with AI, and it can change everything. First of all, I know this is like over expectation of it. I'm not denying that it can help with something here and there. By the way, in terms of generative AI, like this language models that we are using, I definitely have no specific opinion on machine learning, because there is, I think, much better outcome in comparison to this. But yeah, anyway, I know this is not perfect. This is not going to change everything or replace, let's say, some people. But this is something that actually you will encounter in economic topics. Like some technologies are enabling labor, some technologies are removing labor. Like some technologies replacing someone and everything they do, but some of them are enabling someone to enhance your labor.
Efficiency
Obvious example, you can think of a time there was no Word, Excel, or whatever. So technically those tools are enhancing your labors. This could be to some extent something like that. And in some areas, I'm not a big fan of it. I don't think you can use AI especially when you're learning something.
But I assume there are a lot of companies, when they're talking with you, they're gonna mention how AI help us, how they.
Okay,
right?
so coming back so we know this is an expectation.
Yeah.
Who I'm dealing with people, right?
Yeah.
They expect you to some extent adopt this technology, and I'm not like again, I'm one of those people who first try to go deep and learn and then do something about it. So yeah, I'm trying to balance that as well. Not a big fan again, especially in learning.
Learning, yeah.
Yeah, but there we are. You have to be prepared for change and adaptation.
Yeah, and for the first day you launching this company in Nexus to now is almost like 1 year, right?
So I can say technically that I started working on it full time.
Yeah, full time.
From January this year, so almost a year. Yeah, but technically in terms of like incorporation and that is more recent.
Then during this 1 year journey, what's the most excitement, like event, or just have like a mission, more abstract thing? Then that's okay.
So yeah, let me paint you this picture. You are international. Let's say international individual in a country that you are trying to learn. And by the way, with every step you realize, oh, you were wrong about this or that, about, let's say, culture or people behavior, or which is very common. You have a lot of assumptions which are not right necessarily. So basically, you're walking in darkness, pure darkness. Sometimes you can feel, okay, there's a shape here, this is that. So there's a lot of uncertainties and you don't know. Like every day you don't know what you're doing. And they're like in your mood. Obviously, then I'm saying you, it's me.
I know.
You have this ups and downs. Like one day you'll be like, maybe this works. Maybe if I do that, maybe if I reach out to this specific person, and then someday because of somebody just not paid attention to you in networking event, let's say, you're like, oh my God, I'm wasting my life and time and resources and everything. So you have these ups and downs along the way. So this is the situation you are at.
Mm-hmm.
Darkness, uncertainty. And one of the moments I think it really helped me, because to some, and given the fact that a startup is way different than conventional businesses.
Oh, yeah.
You don't know who are your customers, who should pay you at the end, what is the process. You basically designing, creating everything and finding out everything. So so you don't have that small successes that are like small payments from customers, because you don't know exactly who are your customers. So anyway, long story short, there was this day that I got an email from Association of MBAs, which is international organization. Basically, they're accrediting all the business schools across the world. And the email was, we are happy to inform you that you got nominated as the startup of the year 2025. And yeah, this was it. I felt, okay, you got this. You don't know, but apparently there are things you know better. Apparently there are things that are interesting in your approach. And it's internationally, let's say, recognized.
Then if you have a chance to talk with the Ali who just coming to UK in the first week or the first month, you already knew Ali has some presses, some recognition, and now you have a chance to talk with him. What kind of thing you would talk with him to let him be more? I don't know. You want him to be what?
I would be like, go to China, Ali. Go. Finish your MBA, go to China. Yeah, seriously.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Seriously. I know you have a best friend who now living in China, but
yeah. And the other advice would be, don't find any friend. Don't become friend with anyone, because they're going to leave, and you're going to drift apart, and it is painful to see your friends go. Don't make me cry.
I know.
It's not easy.
But you cannot sacrifice the beautiful memories and the beautiful relationships. You cannot tell him that.
Yeah, I can. And I will.
Really
If
won't?
I could, I would. Yeah, it's much easier, honestly. So we know we tend to glorify, let's say, somebody. Again, I'm trying to avoid entrepreneur, but we tend to glorify this entrepreneurship, but it's not. It's not glorious all the time. You have to endure a lot of pain. A lot of pain and uncertainty. You're not sure. Maybe there is, it really, so yeah, if I talk to my past self, probably either I would have tell him like everything I know right now, so he can start avoid so much of the pain and start much earlier, or just not do it. It's fine. You're good enough maybe, or not. It's fine. And yeah, and I'm very serious about like the friendship part. Seriously, it would be much easier to do to be on your own. I really appreciate it. And please understand that
I know.
the root of what I'm saying is my deep
Because you really
appreciation
love that, yeah.
and a deep connection
Mm.
of my friends. And
Yeah.
keep in mind, like, at least in the UK, most of my friends, especially like in business school MBA, none of them were Iranian,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
And they were kind enough to like be part of my life and bring me to their, you know.
Mm.
And at some point you have to let it go.
Mm.
And you know that they will come. You're ready for it. Like from the first day you know, okay, I'm not going to stay. Your
Yeah,
friend is
yeah.
not going to stay here. Fair enough. You just have to watch them leave.
Mm.
Yeah, it's fine. And by the way, I lived by myself for a long time, so I'm very.
Independent.
And that's,
in this
I
way.
think that is a good part of it, because I don't expect anything, and then when you spending time with friends or doing with colleagues doing something, you appreciate it because you don't expect it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's much better. Yeah.
I think there are a lot of people who are just like us, maybe as in, let's call it outsider, who wants to start their own business in UK. And you have mentioned you received some support. Could you give some suggestion for
Yeah.
us how to?
Yeah. So I think very cliche suggestion is like, be proactive, reach out, like be open to receive help. And I'm not like that. It's not practical. What I would suggest is there are different layers of support that you can reach out. First of all, your own friends, like your own circle. Maybe have a chat with them, talk to them. Then if you're a student or if you studied, let's say in the UK, probably if you are considering like
Yeah.
international
International.
people,
Yeah.
some of them are students or graduates. So first thing which some people already have done is to reach out to their own lecturers, professors, and then the next layer would be to find out how your university supports entrepreneurship. And I'm very delighted by UK universities in this specific aspect. They're very good at supporting. They have some sort of support program. Make sure you can find it. Make sure you can find it. So the next stage is university, and then this is the interesting part, I think. In a city level, for example, we are in Leeds City Council has its own support program, startup support program. Then you can go to, let's say, for me it was like West Yorkshire Combined Authority, all of them. You have different layers. You start with your own friends, which is most, let's say, it has both element of encouragement, emotional, and like practical support. And then you can even go to like higher authorities, and they have support programs. And at the same time, if you have any business, I don't want to say business idea, but if you need some sort of support from students doing the research, obviously, you can.
Come to Ali.
Yeah,
Come
the Experiential Academy, the platform,
Yeah.
once they can share, let's say, this is the business, and I want market research in this specific sector, this kind of thing.
Yes.
But yeah, anyway, that is also, let's say, more of intellectual support. And definitely, especially at the earliest stages, you need to understand your market, and you can do everything. I mean, you have to do everything by yourself. You need to understand your market. You want to validate your business and proceed with it. So, yeah, layers, different layers of support. And I think this is much better than just saying, be open. be proactive. I really don't like this being proactive. What does it mean? So if I didn't get something specific, it means I wasn't proactive enough. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. One last question. Because right now we have know your experience in your work, in your entrepreneurial journey, even some of your personality, your traits. And to be honest, I have like 3 details I can add from our interaction before. First one, which is very amazed me, is you're so fucking well organized. Like no matter how busy you are, you go to gym every morning, every weekend you go to library.
There is a reason. There is a reason for that.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that, and I think that is more of a psychological reason.
Yeah.
Technically, whatever you're doing in life, probably it's chaos, right? But when you go to this specific road in the darkness and absolute chaos, you need some islands of order in your life. Otherwise, you can't survive. You can live in chaos, living randomly. So whatever happens in my life, I know tomorrow probably I wake up at 6, by 7 I'm in the gym, and then
That
go
is
to,
fixed.
you know, you have a routine, you know whatever goes wrong, you have this. You spend your weekend, for example, at library or evenings at library.
You can control this.
You have control over some shit in your life, you know. And the beauty of it is some of the growth happens in the background. So let's say if you're focused on getting in shape, and if you're doing it very consciously, it doesn't, you know, probably at some point you give up or you're like, you know. But the beauty is like you have this as like something that just keep you sane. And at the same time, after a while you can say, oh, this is how much I shaped myself, let's say physically or whatever. The other aspect of it is famously about people like Zuckerberg or Steve Jobs. They are wearing something very dull every day, same color, same thing.
Yeah.
And that's more about decision fatigue.
Decision fatigue?
Yeah, so after a certain number of decisions you're making in a day, your brain
Shaped.
no, your brain loses its efficiency and performance on the next decision. You're tired of making decisions. So that's why they remove those decisions from their life. Like black one, that's it.
That's it.
Every day, fine. They don't spend that one extra decision on, let's say, clothes. You know, so whatever, I don't need to decide what should I do tomorrow, 6 in the morning or 7 in the morning, or what should I do with my weekend.
Yeah.
I know it already. Sometimes something external, there's external offer to do something, sure.
Yeah, yeah. Change a little
So
bit.
yeah, that's it. Sorry.
And the second detail is you seems very, you know, like I said, well organized, very clear in your mind. You're nice to people. You're trying to, not you're trying, you are very gentle. And at the same time, you are obsessed with some really hardcore song.
Oh, yeah.
It's like they're like very strong energy, strong power
Oh, yeah.
in that. So I really want you to.
How does it fit together? So again, it's psychology, I guess. And I didn't know it. I think I mentioned at some point I become obsessed with doing different things, including psychology. And there's this interesting thing I found about myself to some extent. So basically, there are two I'm trying to translate at the same time. I don't know what is the right term in English, but there are two drivers, let's say. One of them is creative creation driver, which is very positive, generally speaking. Like you want to love someone, to be loved, and you want to, let's say, create and build. And the other one is more destroying energy and destroying drive, and we have it. We do have it.
I've listened a very same. I don't know if it
It's
very
Freudian.
similar. It's Freud.
Yeah,
It's like we have
perspective.
some power want to live. Also, we want to die. We
Yeah.
also
Yeah, to
yes,
some extent,
to some
yes.
extent.
But generally speaking, it's positive, negative.
yeah.
Arguably, you have that drive to be angry, to destroy, break something. Not always, obviously. You have that need to some extent, let's say. So now I think you know my answer.
Yeah.
At some point, I realized, let's say, when I was like 14 years old, I started to listen to rock and more aggressive music, which one of the main part for me was the lyrics, was the things they used to, they are saying in comparison to more of a pop song. And then I realized after that point of my life, I didn't get into fights. Like as a kid. And that was it. After that, I was more calm because that energy drains in that
this way.
And when again you are dealing with the darkness, you are dealing with uncertainty, you become disappointed at whatever external or internal, that energy is much higher.
Yeah.
So that's why you might see, like, I tend to now, for example, listen to slightly harder or more heavier songs, and at the same time do heavier exercise in the gym, because you need to not get rid of that energy.
Yeah.
You need to
Solve
let
it.
go of
Yeah.
that energy, and it helps.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you
Cheers.
very much.
Thank you so much.